Hello and welcome to the shed. I apologise for the sun, but I'm going to share something so it ain't going to make much difference for long. You're just going to have to put up with it. I'm going to have to get a curtain and put it over there because whenever the sun comes on, it just whitewashes everything out. Anyway, here we go again. I was in a stream again the other day. Was it yesterday, day before yesterday? Can't remember. Within the last couple of days, again on Unit's channel, having a conversation this time with a couple of Christians. And basically, it's an argument most atheists have heard before, and it's when it comes to trying to explain that a God exists, and it's, according to them, it's quite easy to explain or to be convinced on how a God exists, because the argument is there is buildings, there is paintings. We know there's builders of buildings and painters of paintings, and we've got trees. So look at the trees. Anyway, I won't go through the argument. While I'm doing this bit, I'll let you watch the video. I don't think it's on for too long. Can't remember. Maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. I don't know. Anyway, I'll pop that up and you can have a listen and let me know what you think in the comments. And I'll be back myself shortly.
And you would never even know it, now would you? What makes you think you're so special that you would be the first one to get the memo?
Well, I don't know. We're just
seriously.
Yeah, we're just using that as a metaphor. You were saying that, you know.
No, I'm actually not. I'm not using it as a metaphor. I'm using it as a very real reality, because that's exactly what God promised with His very own mouth.
Paul, listen, I'll prove to you why you should believe. Okay, based on science, like you said.
Okay.
We all established that you're an atheist. You said that yourself. You don't believe in God. You don't believe anything happens to you after you die. Now, the buildings around you, when you go downtown or when you walk around, you see buildings, houses. These buildings have a builder, correct?
Sorry, you're losing me.
The buildings in the streets, like the houses that you see, they must have a builder, correct? Or they just happen to erupt by themselves?
Yeah, so we said somebody built them, yeah.
Somebody built them. The paintings you see on the walls, somebody must have painted them.
Yeah.
So paintings have painters, buildings have builders. So basically what you're trying to say as atheists, the kittens, the dogs and cats, the human beings, the animals, the plants, the forest, all this stuff was built from nothing, which is against science. It's against scientific logic that all these things came from nothing.
But plants and animals aren't built.
See, that's what atheists say. But if the building had a builder, so no matter if the builder is dead or not, he still existed. He still existed. He still built that building. So if the painter is dead, doesn't mean there was never a painter for that painting.
Yeah, but I've got the difference between that is that I've got experience of builders. I have seen builders at work. I have seen people painting pictures. I can get the name of the painter. I can get the name of the builder. I've got all this additional information when it comes to a builder of buildings and painters of paintings. I've got a vast array of information on that. But you're telling me that trees and animals were also built, but I've got no information on that builder at all.
But what if it's a building that you don't know who the builder is? What if it's a painting that is painted by an anonymous painter? You wouldn't assume that painting just came to be, or that building just came to be.
No, because because I've got experience of builders and painters. Whether it's the same painter or a different painter, whether if I come across a painting, yes, granted, I might come across a painting that doesn't have a name on it, and I don't know who painted it, but I've got experience of people doing paintings that have got names on it. So I can look at like Picasso or whatever, any other names you can think of painters, and I can watch programs on television of painters and see how paintings are done. I've got this wealth of information when it comes to that, but I've got none of this when it comes to the builder of a tree. I've got none of that. I've got all these trees.
So
and
therefore, I'm right. So atheists unscientifically think that everything came from nothing because they don't have the evidence to.
No, it doesn't mean it came from. No, it doesn't mean it came from nothing. I mean, trees don't come from nothing. We know how a tree grows. We know how it gets its nourishment through the earth, through the water, through photosynthesis, through the sun. We have an
so there is some wealth of knowledge. It's not like you don't have any wealth of knowledge.
I have knowledge of how a tree grows. That's what I've got, but I don't have knowledge of a builder, a being. Clearly you're trying to say a god. I don't have any information of that building a tree. You're just claiming that we've got a tree. I don't understand. This is what I was going back. This is going back to what I was saying before. Is we like to have an understanding. The human being, it wants an answer to everything. It doesn't like I don't know. It wants an answer to everything. So basically what you're saying is we're looking out at the forest. We see all these trees. We want to know where these trees come from. We need to invent something that created these trees, and there's your God. You've got no evidence that this happened. All you're saying is, I don't understand how a tree. I'm seeing a tree out and see this magnificent tree. I cannot understand how this tree can come to existence. Someone, some being must have created it. That's literally what
it's pretty obvious. If the painting had some kind of intelligence behind it, and the building
we have
has
a wealth of
intelligent
knowledge.
design. There must be an intelligent designer. It doesn't
We
just
have a
happen
wealth
by
of
itself.
knowledge about painters. You're using the example of a painter to try and put it into a god. I've got experience with painters. I know people who paint. One of my friends of mine, he does loads and loads of drawings. He's absolutely brilliant at it. So we've got experience of that, but we don't have experience of this tree builder that you're trying to explain.
But look around you. If the tree is growing,
I see the tree. I don't see the tree builder. I see the painter.
Do you see the photosynthesis?
No, I see the painting, and I also see painters. I see the tree. I don't see tree builders anywhere. I see the trees.
You see the photosynthesis?
Yes.
How do you see the photosynthesis?
I can see the sun. I can see the effects of photosynthesis on the plants. Yes.
How can you measure the photosynthesis on that tree?
I'm quite sure we can measure the amount of sunlight.
You're quite sure because you've been told.
We can measure the. I used to have. They used to give me the UV percentage on the weather machine I had outside. So yeah, we can see the UV. You've got a UV index, which will tell you the amount of sunlight that's been. So we can measure the amount of sunlight. We can probably measure the amount of
again,
sunlight.
You're measuring the UV. You know the UV, but you can't see the photosynthesis. How the UV is being transferred into food for the plant.
Yeah, but I also, again, when I eat food, right, I can't see the processes going. I can understand what's happening. We can measure the nutrients in the food that I'm eating, and then I'm eating the food, and it can actually measure what's coming out the other side and how much has disappeared, and that. So it's still exactly the same thing.
Exactly the same thing. You've been told from a scientific book that that's what happens, and you blindly believe it. No problem.
No, because science.
When it comes to God,
no, science doesn't. No, because science doesn't expect you to just blindly believe what it tells you. It will break down and give you the explanation of why it's come to that conclusion. But all you're telling me is you've got a tree builder, but you're not coming up with an explanation of why we've got a tree builder, or who this tree builder is, or what this tree builder looks like, what his plans are. When it comes to science, we know by what science tells us. And it isn't just a case that science tells us something. It will then give us the additional information that we need to understand on why they've come to the conclusion that they have. But you're not doing that with your God. All you're telling me is you've got trees that there clearly is a tree builder. And you're saying, well, you look at a painting, you clearly know that there's a painter. Well, yeah, I do. I've got experience of painters. I know people who paint. I know people who do drawings. I've got all this wealth of information. And then you're going, yeah, but you've got trees as well. So there must be a tree builder. I've got no experience of a fucking tree builder. So using buildings and painters and then trying to put your God into trees and other things, it absolutely doesn't work.
It does work if you understand the fucking analogy of it.
I thought you said it wasn't an analogy. Or was that the other guy?
Well, the thing is you're trying to use science from the perspective of mortal man, who is a creation of God. You're trying to use man.
Let me just remove that. Right. So yeah, that was the clip that I wanted to capture. I don't think he got what I was trying to explain to him, but that was it. So yeah, it's only been a short one actually. So it's only 12 minutes. So that's quite good. Kept it a bit smaller today. There might be another couple of clips in there that I might want to clip out. I'll have to look through and see where we went, because I was on there for quite a while, probably well over an hour. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting one. I don't think to any of you believers of a God out there, that's a really, really bad analogy to use, is comparing buildings, paintings, and then telling me, go look at the trees. It really doesn't work for the reasons that I've just explained. So anyway, that was it. Short one today. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you all on the next one.